I'm so good at life that I let my stream, I let my whole laptop die. Um, it's just the life I'm living, man. It's the life I'm living. But I'm not done yet, so I'm gonna finish. Oh my god, I need calories, man. I need calories. It's so funny because back when I first started streaming, man, if my stream would have died or I would have had like troubleshooting issues, it would not. I probably wouldn't even be able to finish my stream. But nowadays, I'm way better at it. All right. Okay, so I got everything back up. I had some weirdness going on with this one. Okay, I'm trying to plot it out just so I can visualize it. So if x is greater than negative 4/3, but then x is less than that's not right. Oh, it's right here. What's wrong with me? X is greater than negative 4/3. Oh wait, but oh yeah, it does become an or actually. No, it can't become an or. It's no solution. That's what it is. Because it's two number ranges that don't overlap each other. So there's no solution that satisfies both. My brain had to my brain had to kind of check in on what we was doing. Okay. I don't anticipate streaming late like this regularly anymore, but today was a special occasion because I still wanted to stream. But tomorrow should be a lot better because, first of all, tomorrow's Thursday. Well, today technically is Thursday, which means we have a live podcast later today, at like around noon. So I'll either, considering the state of my room right now, I'll probably start the podcast and then I'll stay on and do my studying stream after the podcast. But ultimately the goal is, let me see, do I have my calendar up? I don't think my calendar is open. Ultimately my goal is to start for the rest of the month. I want to get to streaming around like noon. So if I could stream around noon every day until the end of the month, then by September I want to incorporate like a morning session. So I'll have at least two study blocks. And that's just like on stream studying, but I probably still, study off stream and stuff like that. And then once I start taking classes, I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to like show, the things that I'm doing in the class, but I'll probably do like, more of a co-working view for those sessions. So I can actually hide my screen. All right, let's finish this. But so far, this is nice. I haven't gotten anything set up yet, but it's like I have so much more room on my desk, which was like a big deal, especially now that I'm like, okay, I want to start doing my work again and everything. I am a little close to the wall, like my chair is squeaking, but can't be perfect. All right. But yeah, I'll just, especially yesterday, trying to do math at my desk. Oh, let me write this answer, no solution. Last one was no solution because there was no numbers that satisfied both. But yeah, yesterday I was like very uncomfortable trying to try not to knock stuff off my desk. So that gave me that last little push I needed to get my desk together, I think. Now I'm gonna be mad at myself when I wake up tomorrow, but the hard part is done. The hardest part is done, I think. Okay, so this one is an or. X is greater than 4/3, or X is greater than 42 over 21 is 2, right? So it's really just as long as X. Mm-mm. I'm not like a fan of these erasers because my Bics, the eraser doesn't slide. The eraser twists, so the eraser stays locked in place. But this is like not really that great. All right. I have to plot some of these out just so my sleepy brain can like process what's going on. But I say this is negative 1/3. Then that would be 0. That would be 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, or 1, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3, or 2. So if X is greater than 4/3, or X is greater than 2, then it's basically just X is greater than 4/3. Everything greater than 4/3 should satisfy it. Ouch.
Solve for x. 5x minus 3 is less than 12, and 4x plus 1 is greater than 25. So let's just solve for x in each of these constraints, and just keep in mind that
Okay,
any
because I
x
was
has to
hearing the
satisfy
echo.
both of them, because it's an and over here. So first we have this 5x minus 3 is less than 12. So if we want to isolate the x, we can get rid of this negative 3 here by adding 3 to both sides. So let's add 3 to both sides of this
I already had
inequality.
something with no solution,
On the
right?
left-hand side, we're just left with a 5x. The minus 3 and the plus 3 cancel out. 5x is less than 12 plus 3 is 15. Now we can divide both sides by positive 5. That won't swap the inequality since 5 is positive. So we divide both sides by positive 5. And we are left with, just from this constraint, that x is less than 15 over 5, which is 3. So that's that constraint over here. But we have the second constraint as well. We have this one. We have 4x plus 1 is greater than 25. So very similarly, we can subtract 1 from both sides to get rid of that 1 on the left-hand side. And we get 4x, the 1's cancel out, is greater than 25 minus 1 is 24. Divide both sides by positive 4. Divide both sides by positive 4. Don't have to do anything to the inequality since it's a positive number. And we get x is greater than 24 over 4 is 6. And remember, there was that and over here. We have this and. So x has to be less than 3, and x has to be greater than 6. So already your brain might be realizing that this is a little bit strange. This first constraint says that x needs to be less than 3. So if this is 3 on the number line, we're saying x has to be less than 3. So it has to be in this shaded area right over there. The second constraint says that x has to be greater than 6. So if this is 6 over here, it says that x has to be greater than 6. It can't even include 6. And since we have this and here, the only x's that are a solution for this compound inequality are the ones that satisfy both, the ones that are in the overlap of their solution set. But when you look at it right over here, it's clear that there is no overlap. There is no x that is both greater than 6 and less than 3. So in this situation, we have no solution. We have no solution. We're asked to solve for x. And we have this compound inequality here. Negative 16 is less than or equal to 3x plus 5, which is less than or equal to 20. And really, there's two ways to approach it, which are really the same way. And I'll do both of them, and I'll actually do both of them simultaneously. So one is to just solve this compound inequality all at once. And I'll just rewrite it. Negative 16 is less than or equal to 3x plus 5, which is less than or equal to 20. And the other way is to think of it as two separate inequalities, but both of them need to be true. So you could also view it as negative 16 has to be less than or equal to 3x plus 5, and 3x plus 5, 3x plus 5 needs to be less than or equal to 20. This statement and this statement are equivalent. This one might seem a little bit more familiar because we can independently solve each of these inequalities and just remember the and. This one might seem a little less traditional because now we have three sides to the statement. We have three parts of this compound inequality. What we can see is that we're actually going to solve it the exact same way. In any situation, we really just want to isolate the x on one side of the inequality, or in this case, one part of the compound inequality. Well, the best way to isolate this x right here is to first get rid of this positive 5 that's sitting in the middle. So let's subtract 5 from every part of this compound inequality. So I'm going to subtract 5 there, subtract 5 there, and subtract 5 over there. And so we get negative 16 minus 5 is negative 21, is less than or equal to 3x plus 5 minus 5 is 3x, which is less than or equal to 20 minus 5, which is 15. And we could essentially do the same thing here. If we want to isolate the 3x, we can subtract 5 from both sides. Subtract 5 from both sides. We get negative 21. And negative 21 is less than or equal to 3x. And we get, subtracting 5 from both sides. And notice, we're just subtracting 5 from every part of this compound inequality. We get 3x is less than or equal to 15. So this statement and this statement, once again, are the exact same thing. Now going back here, if we want to isolate the x, we can divide by 3. And we have to do it to every part of the inequality. And since 3 is positive, we don't have to change the sign. So let's divide every part of this compound inequality by 3. You divide every part by 3. This is equivalent to dividing every part of each of these inequalities. Every part of these inequalities by 3. And then we get negative 21 divided by 3 is negative 7 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 15 divided by 3 is 5. You do it here, you get negative 7 is less than or equal to x, and x is less than or equal to 15 over 3, which is 5. This statement and this statement are completely equal. And we've solved for x. We've given you the solution set. And if we want to graph it on a number line, it would look like this. It would look like this is 0, this is 5, this is negative 7. Our solution set includes everything between negative 7 and 5, including negative 7 and 5. So we'll have solid, we have to fill in the circles on negative 7 and positive 5, and it is everything in between. That's our solution set. And so we can verify that these work. You could try out a number that's well inside of our solution set, like 0. 3 times 0 is 0, so you're just left with 5 is greater than or equal to negative 16, which is true, and 5 is less than or equal to 20. Or negative 16 is less than or equal to 5, which is less than or equal to 20. So that works, and that makes sense. You could try 5. If you put 5 here, you get 3 times 5 plus 5. Well, that's just 20. Negative 16 is less than or equal to 20, which is less than or equal to 20. That works. Negative 7 should also work. 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. Plus 5 is negative 16. So you get negative 16, which is less than or equal to negative 16, which is less than or equal to 20. And you could try other values. You could go outside of our solution set. Try something like 10. 10 should not work. And if you see here, if you put 10 here, you get 3 times 10 plus 5 is 35. 35, negative 16 is less than or equal to 35, but 35 is not less than or equal to 20. And that's why 10 is not part of our solution set.
I just have to do these practice ones. And then I'll probably have a quiz after this. So x is greater than or equal to 16 over 5. Then x is less than or equal to negative 3/4. Was that the only one? Story problems.
We're told that a griffin flew east over a castle at 50 kilometers per hour. Then, 42 minutes later, a dragon also flew east over the castle. The dragon flew 225 kilometers per hour. Assume both the griffin and the dragon continue flying east at the same speeds. How many minutes will the dragon have flown since passing the castle when it catches up to the griffin? And they also ask us how many kilometers east of the castle will they be at that time? So pause this video and see if you can figure this out before we do this together. All right, so the question...
Wait, okay, let me...
question is, how many minutes will the dragon have flown since passing the castle when it catches up to the griffin? So let's set that variable to be equal to t, the number of minutes that the dragon has flown. Dragon flown since castle, and catches up. Catches up. So let's think about the distance that the dragon would have flown in that t minutes. Well, the dragon's flying at 225 kilometers per hour, so the distance is going to be the rate, 225 kilometers per hour, times the time, so times t minutes, but we have to be careful. This is in minutes while the rate is given in kilometers per hour. So we have to make sure that our units work out. And so for every 1 hour, we have 60 minutes. And we can see here that the units indeed do work out. This hour cancels with that hour in the numerator and the denominator, and this minutes cancels out with this minutes. And so the distance that the dragon would have flown after t minutes is going to be 225t over 60 kilometers. So let me write it this way. 225 over 60 t kilometers. Now we could try to simplify this, but I'll leave it like this for now. Maybe I'll simplify it a little bit later. Now let's think about how far the griffin would have flown. So they tell us that the griffin is flying at 50 kilometers per hour. So 50 kilometers per hour. And how long would the griffin have flown by that point? Well, the griffin passed the castle 42 minutes before the dragon passed it. So if t is how many minutes that the dragon has been flying east of the castle, well then the griffin is going to be t plus 42 minutes. So t plus 42 minutes is how long that the griffin has been traveling east of the castle. And then once again, we have to make sure that our units work out. So we're going to say 1 hour for every 60 minutes. The minutes cancel out, the hours cancel out. And so we are going to be left with 50 over 60, or I could write 5/6 times t plus 42 kilometers. Or if we want to simplify this even more, this is going to be 5/6t plus, let's see, 5/6 of 42. 42 divided by 6 is 7, times 5 is 35, plus 35 kilometers. So we know that they would have flown the exact same distance because we're talking about when the dragon catches up with the griffin. So these two things need to be equal to each other, and then we can just solve for t. So let's do that. We get 225 over 60t, and we know that both sides are in kilometers, so just for the sake of simplicity, I won't write the units here. So this is going to be equal to 5/6t plus 35. And now let us solve for t. We can subtract 5/6t from both sides, or actually, since I already have 60 as a denominator, I could subtract 50 over 60t from both sides, which is the same thing as 5/6t. So I'm going to have 225 over 60 minus 50 over 60, and then all of that times t is equal to 35. And so let me get myself a little bit more real estate. So this is going to be simplified as 175 over 60t is equal to 35, or that if I just multiply both sides by 60 over 175, I'll get that t is equal to 35 times 60 over 175. And you might recognize that 35 is the same thing as 5 times 7, and 175 is the same thing as 25 times 7. So these 7s cancel out, and then if we divide both this and this by 5, this becomes a 1, this becomes a 5, and then 60 divided by 5 is equal to 12. And so remember, t was in minutes, so the answer to the first part of the question is 12 minutes. So let's go back up to what they were asking us. How many minutes will the dragon have flown since passing the castle when it catches up to the griffin? Well, we defined that as t, and then we got 12 minutes. Now the next part of the question is, how many kilometers east of the castle will they be at that time? So to figure out how many kilometers east of the castle, we just have to calculate this expression or this expression when t is equal to 12. So I'm going to use this first one. So you're going to have 225 over 60 times 12 is going to give us, let's see, 60 and 12 are both divisible by 12, so you get that 1 over 5. And if you divide 225 by 5, that is going to give us 45, and the units all work out to kilometers. So we answered the first two parts of the question. And the second part of this question, they tell us that Latanya and Jair both wrote correct inequalities for the times in minutes when the dragon is farther east of the castle than the griffin is. Latanya wrote t is greater than 12, and Jair wrote t is greater than 54. How did Latanya and Jair define their variables? Well, Latanya defined her variables the exact same way that I define mine. Because we got t is equal to 12 when the dragon passes up the griffin, so for t is greater than 12, the dragon is farther east of the castle than the griffin. So we did the exact same thing as Latanya. But what Jair did, if he got t is greater than 54, is he must have defined t as being equal to the number of minutes since the griffin, the first but slower creature, passed the castle. And so he would have gotten t is greater than 54, and then if you wanted to know how many minutes since the dragon passed the castle, because the dragon got there 42 minutes later, he would have subtracted 42 from that, and that's how you connect these two numbers over here. But the important thing to realize is there's multiple ways to solve the same problem. What matters is to be very clear how you are defining that variable and use it consistently throughout, and then interpret it correctly when you're answering the questions.
All right, let's see if my brain can digest a linear rate problem. Oh, you know what? No, it's definitely there. Okay, let me see. I think they're gonna show me this again. The pages have to be equal, I get that. Oh, well, that's still the same thing I had. The pages. Oh, I see. It's a little bit different than what I had. Oh, okay. That's the same thing I wrote, but yeah, that's the same thing I got. So, but I got 11t equals 75 and 40t equals 40, but what I really need is 75 minus 11t equals to 40 minus 40. So I'm thinking about the number of pages backwards. I should be thinking about how many pages they have left, not how many pages they have completed. But either way. So 5 is equal to t, and t is in terms of powers. Oh, okay. So the first case page is P is equal to 75 pages minus 11 pages per hour. And then the second one is P is equal to 40 pages minus 4 pages per hour T. Now set those equal to each other. So 5 is equal to T. 75 pages minus 11 times 5. So they'll both have 20 pages left. Jesus. And it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I've got to do 3 more of these. Okay. Considering that I really need a little bit of like brain juice for these problems, I kind of want to finish this tomorrow / later today, because I really should refresh on doing these rate problems, but my brain is also mush at the same time, so I know when to say enough is enough. Okay, because I'm yawning like crazy. But at least I can feel proud of myself for getting some, I really wanted to get something done today. It's very important to me to try to do a stream every single day for the rest of this month, just to finish off strong. And again, I'm really trying to get into a good habit of study time, and start to work study time into my daily routine to the point where I can expand the amount of study time I'm going to be doing in September, because that's going to be really crucial. So every day is progress. That's how I feel. Every day is progress. So I'm going to finish this quiz tomorrow or / today after I get done with my stream, because I highly doubt that I'm going to have the energy to stream early tomorrow, considering that it's already 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm gonna have to get up and here, I'm gonna put some of this paper in the folder for now. I'm gonna have to get up and finish cleaning up my room and finish organizing my setup and everything. So I'm gonna but by noon I should be good to go. Let's see, what's tomorrow? Thursday. Where's my calendar? Yeah, like the only thing I really have on my agenda tomorrow, the hard requirement I have, is the podcast at noon. So I'm gonna get some sleep. I'm gonna get up and like finish up my setup and everything, and then the beautiful thing is that regardless of what the heck the rest of my room looks like, I can still stream. So I appreciate that much. But I wanted to see how far along am I Okay, so I have to do the linear rates, finish up with the linear rates, and then I still have absolute value equations. And then I can do a quiz, and then I have the test, the overall test. So yeah, we'll keep working on that. I forgot how long I said I wanted to work on this. So I want to write myself a note. Where's my stickies? Because I got new sticky notes. Oh, come on. And I don't got a marker over here though. Hold up, wait a minute. It's better for me to set my goals before I finish than to wait and then not remember what the heck I was thinking about. I know I got a marker. I literally just had a Sharpie. And the question is, where did I sit it? I found a Sharpie earlier today under, oh, here's it. Yep, here it is. Okay. Oh, wait. So, it's my new pack. I think I stay on brand, so it's kind of hard to see, but those blue, it's like the colors of the stream. But for the sake of the wall, I'm going to use a blue one. So one of my goals is to plan out the Khan Academy timeline. Is this visible? Yeah, I guess so. And then the other thing I want to remember to do is reevaluate my overall goals. Because even though I have had to kind of make sure that I switch over into learning mode for my program admissions, that's still important to me to at least finish something I started for the challenge. And I still have the Fast AI course. All of this is stuff I'm still going to do. I still have the Fast AI course. So my goal, I think, and again, I have to sit down and think about this, but my goal is going to be finishing the Fast AI course, I think, for this month. And then, can I separate these? Okay, so finish the Fast AI course. And I want to do Khan Academy, college algebra, Let me see, how much algebra material is it? I would say I would like to finish algebra and pre-calc this month, but that might be doing a lot. I'm gonna put both on my list, but I can reevaluate that. So these are the things I want to complete because at the end of the month, my big thing for the math is that I need to take I need to either take pre-calc or calculus on study.com for my admissions requirement. This stupid chair. That's the main thing that I have to focus on. So I think those will keep me on target. And then maybe green stuff would be the green ones are like my content goals. I'm still working on the AI. I do have it published. And then I guess the last big thing is that I really need to publish the podcast. It's a lot of them. But my goal is that for the most part, I'm going to focus on creating a blog that goes with each episode. So that is what we are working with. All right, so I have to think about what I'm going to talk about on the podcast today, but I have some ideas in mind. I was thinking it might be time to go ahead because today is crawl, walk, run. So I was like, it might be time to go ahead and start looking at some technical topics because I've been doing a lot more like soft talks, which is fine. But I think I might start talking about some more tech stuff. So like more technical content, because that's originally what the crawl, walk, run was going to be. So I haven't figured out what I will do, but obviously by the time noon rolls around, I'll have that figured out. So in the meantime, I'm going to wrap it up for tonight and try to get some sleep and not stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning again tomorrow. But you got to do what you got to do. So if I got to pull an all-nighter, I got to pull an all-nighter. I don't know. But yeah, so I'll finish this up and then I'll be looking forward to having another session tomorrow. Tomorrow I don't have anything to do like work-wise. I don't have hard requirements for anything work-related. So I get to spend a little bit more time focusing and getting, some stuff together. Maybe spend like a lot more time actually diving through some of this material. So I will see y'all in the morning / afternoon probably. Good night.